Shah IAS Institute presenting news for 12th October 2016, basically from the Hindu newspaper. The first news item, India unhappy over Russia-Pakistan ties. This is regarding the joint military exercise between Pakistan and Russia, Friendship 2016, which was conducted recently. This was the first joint exercise which the two nations conducted in Pakistan's northwestern region. India has raised concerns over this, asking Russia to not support a state who sponsors terrorism. But Russia says that Pakistan itself is also a victim of terrorism and needs to have collaboration with it for counter-terrorism measures. So that is it. So we are getting closer to USA and Russia getting closer to Pakistan now. And the next news item is Salafism brought Kerala IS group together. So Salafism is a form of Islam linked to even the Wahhabi movement, which we saw during the modern Indian history times. So Kerala IS groups, there are people in Kerala who have been linked to IS. Even Zakir Naik and other Muslim preachers were inducted in this, but they said that they have not been inspired by them, but they have been inspired by Salafism or Wahhabism. Next is Karnataka's ban on e-cigarettes turns into vapors near schools. So this means it has not been effective. State governments have banned e-cigarettes. E-cigarettes have been launched by a Chinese technician who has shown that these can help in reducing addiction to cigarettes, but then these have been misused and many teenagers are indulged in this. So they don't generate smoke, they generate vapors. So it's also called vaping. So it has become a new trend, but many states have banned it. Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, Punjab was the first one to ban this. So now regulations have been taken to make this more stringent. Next is UNICEF initiative to tackle malnutrition in children. This is regarding a pilot project which UNICEF is launching in Andhra Pradesh, which is based on its community-based malnutrition management program, under which ready-to-use therapeutic food would be provided to these malnourished children. So therapeutic milk and nuts, oil, sugar, etc. would be provided, giving them necessary vitamins and minerals. So this is a pilot project which will be launched. So Indian infant mortality rate is very high. Also, the Integrated Child Development Scheme Services. This program also targets this infant mortality rate, but there is still a long way to go. So UNICEF is giving a helping hand here. Next is an effort to revive Harikatha. Harikatha is an art form comprising of storytelling, poetry, music, through which any Hindu religious theme is put forth. So it has been revived now by cultural organizations to inculcate the knowledge about the religion and righteousness amongst the youth. Next is NBT captures life of 8 women heroes. So National Book Trust has released independent books on 8 women who have been looked up to through ancient to modern history, and so these 8 women have been detailed out below. We'll discuss them. Next is jailed Chinese activist wins top rights prize. So this is regarding a Chinese human rights activist who had been vocal about the rights of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang region in China, which is close to Pakistan and POK. So it has been a region of unrest. Han Chinese are also settled there and there are conflicts between the two communities. So this person had spoken of the cultural rights of Uyghur Muslims there. So he has been awarded for that, and China has raised its voice against this award. Also, this Chinese activist is presently in jail in China. Next is 2 professors share Economics Nobel. So Economics Nobel has been awarded now for contract theory. So this we'll discuss. Next is who will regulate pension products. So pension products have been diversified presently. Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Agency is the regulating authority for pensions principally. But right now we see different types of pension linked products coming in the market, like insurance linked pension products. So those come even under the Insurance Regulatory and Development Agency. Then we have even mutual funds linked pension products which come under SEBI. So there is crisis that which is the regulatory authority for all pensions. So there is some dilemma here, for which the government is presently setting up a committee to look into the matter. Next is center-eyes SOPs to spur internal trade. This is regarding internal trade, both retail and wholesale, which is dominated by non-corporatized small sector, units, and these need to be digitized. It is seen more than 70% of them do not have computers and digitization, which is essential once government implements goods and services tax. So government is educating them regarding this and making efforts to ensure that they come into digitization. And also regulation is required. E-commerce giants are said to give a huge amount of discounts, disrupting the market. So there's a committee being set up. Niti Aayog is also studying this matter. Next is about the Note 7, Samsung Galaxy Note 7, which news came up recently that PCs are catching fire. So these equipments have now been recalled from the market, and it will be a huge hole in the exchequer of Samsung, the South Korean mobile giant. Next is US Supreme Court to hear Apple-Samsung feud. This is regarding the patent dispute between Apple and the manufacturer iPhone and Samsung. So Samsung phones are said to have copied the design and layout of Apple. So this has been proved. Samsung has also paid compensation to Apple. Presently, the dispute is about how much of compensation has to be paid. So this is again, a blow on the reputation of Samsung. Next is who calls for hike in tax on sugary drinks. So this is regarding the drinks which result in obesity, which is on a rise majorly in adolescents in today. So World Health Organization is asking countries to put taxation on such sugary drinks at a higher rate. Next is trips to Mars could cause dementia in astronauts. So cosmic rays affect astronauts, and a study shows that it may result in diseases like dementia. So that is the news items. We'll discuss some of them in detail below. The first one, India-Russia joint exercise, Friendship 2016. So we have seen this. Indian-Russian ties are still strong. The nuclear power plants which India is, have established are through Russian assistance only. Kudankulam 1 has already been integrated into the power grid. So Kudankulam 2, 3, 4, processing is taking place. There are developments on this side. So it's not that Russia is completely out of Indian, bilateral relations. But yeah, there is a strain which is seen now. Next is about Salafism, which has influenced Kerala IAS supporters. So talking about Salafism too, here, Salafi movement, it had been, it started in 19th century. Even Wahhabism, which is something similar to this only. Salafism started in Egypt. Wahhabism was started by Muhammad Wahhab, who was also prominent in Saudi Arabia, and he had a political agreement with King of Saud also. So Saudi Arabian government presently also supports Wahhabism, and Wahhabism is known to support even terrorism, and IS is also influenced by this Wahhabi field stream. And this Wahhabism basically talks of puritanical, means going back. Means not progressive, but going back and bringing the old ideas back. It believes in Sharia laws. It believes in, even there are, presently aspects such as Muslims follow saints. They visit their shrines. So this is all called un-Islamic. So they believe those ideas. So Saudi Arabia is a major supporter of this Salafism. So we have already seen even the Justa law of US is not liked by it. So that is about this. But some Muslims, of course, they call this satanic faith. They don't call it true Islam because it promotes violence. Next is about Karnataka's e-cigarettes. We already saw this. Vaping. So this has been banned in many states now. Electronic cigarettes. Right? It was invented in 2003 by Chinese pharmacists. Then Unicef initiative. Ready-to-use therapeutic foods will be provided in Andhra Pradesh. Then Harikatha, this we already saw. Then National Book Trust has launched books about these 8 women leaders in India. We'll discuss each of them. First one, Rani Rudramadevi. She was a Naga leader. She was considered a political and spiritual leader. She revolted against the British. She had joined the Heraka religious movement in Naga region, more so in Manipur and Naga areas. So she was considered even as a spiritual incarnation of a goddess. And she was arrested in 1932 by the government of British Indian government at the age of 16 years, and she had been sentenced to life imprisonment. She was eventually released after independence in 1947. So she has been commemorated for this. Even later in life, she worked for upholding the culture of Nagas and against the conversion to Christianity of these Naga population. Next is Rani Lakshmibai. She is prominently known. She was the Maratha ruler of Jhansi state, and she was a prominent leader of revolt of 1857. She died defending her Jhansi, the kingdom. Then Rani Ahilyabai Holkar. She was also another Maratha queen in the Malwa region, and she had succeeded the throne, led armies into battles. She was also a connoisseur of art and architecture. She has supported many temple constructions. Even the Somnath temple, which was desecrated, was restored by her. Then the next is Lal Ded. She was a mystic in Kashmir, a Shaivat mystic, and she has written many poems too, which are the prominent initial contributions in Kashmiri language. And her contributions verses which Rani Chinnamma. She was the ruler of Kittur, a dynasty, a princely state in Karnataka, present day, and she rebelled against the British much before the revolt of 1857 too. She revolted in 1824. She was arrested and she died in prison in 1829. So she is prominently known. The next is Rani Rudramadevi. Now she is from the medieval times. She was the queen ruler of Kakatiya dynasty of Warangal. This is in Andhra Pradesh, former Andhra Pradesh, presently Telangana region. So this ruler of Warangal during medieval times, she promoted herself, or she put forth herself as a male. So she called herself Rudradev Maharaj, and she dressed like that. So this is one of the earliest women rulers during medieval times too. Then next is Sister Nivedita. She was even the follower or disciple of Swami Vivekananda. She was inspired by him. She was a social worker, an author, a teacher. She is also called, a freedom fighter for India. She gave speeches which inspired Indians in West Bengal to fight against the Britishers. So she inspired the youth. She also worked for the welfare of India, taking care of the downtrodden, nursing the patients during plague epidemics also. And also she promoted and supported Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose, who was eventually felicitated for his inventions, which today are known for the wireless communication technology. So that was his contribution too. She supported him financially and also through her influence at international level. So she is known for these contributions. She was there till 1918. So that not even 1918. She was there until 1911. So she had supported the Swadeshi movement, anti-partition movement in Bengal. So that was her contribution towards freedom struggle too. Then next is Kanaklata Barua. She was a martyr from Assam. She had died during a fatal shot during the Quit India movement, in which she was marching in the procession bearing the Indian flag. So she is also a martyr of Indian freedom struggle. So these are the books which NBT has launched presently on these women fighters and prominent women personalities. Next, about Xinjiang province, as we have spoken of it, the Uyghur Muslims here, and this is the region close to India, POK, and even Pakistan. This is the region of unrest in China. And this Chinese activist has been felicitated now for trying to bring in peace here, which China does not acknowledge. Then about the Economics Nobel. This year's Economics Nobel Prize has been awarded to two economists who worked on the idea of contract theory. So contract between two entities, either formal on paper or informal, are based on mutual understanding of how each one will benefit. This idea was already developed as general equilibrium theory, but then they further developed on the basis of the two problems which generally emerge. That one is informational problem, that other person may not have complete information of the work done, say by an employee. The employer does not know how much that person has actually contributed. There cannot be a full-time check. So based on this incomplete information, how can we move ahead in this contract theory? And also each contract cannot be complete. There are incomplete contracts. We cannot know about all possible circumstances. So how to tackle with that? They have worked on these two ideas. Then next is regarding the pension products. This we already discussed, the three authorities regulating conflict between them. This will be simplified now after central government intervention. Internal trade problems. We are implementing GST also, and this is the Fire Samsung Galaxy 7. Then this is about the patent problem between Samsung and Apple. So the similarity you can see how Samsung has copied. And the last two news items about high taxation on sugar drinks and astronauts getting affected. Thank you. That is it for today.